Welcome to Business Revolution. Business Revolution is an idea-sharing platform where budding entrepreneurs and experienced entrepreneurs share their business tips, pros and cons, do's and don'ts of how they built their businesses to where they are today. I'm Nataliey Bitature, and this is Business Revolution. Today we have Ms. Huddah Tamale from Nash Royal Teas, sharing her entrepreneurial journey with us. Welcome, Huddah.
Thank you, Nataliey.
Thank you for being here. Can you tell us a bit about your story? What is your company? What does it do? Who is Huddah?
Huddah is an entrepreneur, an accountant by profession. And I'm a team leader of a tea company, a tea processing company that deals in teas that maximize health naturally, mainly herbal teas and black spice teas. The company is called Sufiana Investments, and we are trading under the brand name of Nash Royal Teas.
Why did you start this?
At first, I actually didn't start out as a tea company. I started as a confectionery. When I was starting, I started immediately after campus. That was 2016. I started with a vision. I wanted to just make money in whatever way. And the thing is, I started when I knew little about business. I didn't know much. So I started with a lot of ignorance. I think that's why I did quite a lot. Because most times people don't start because they know way too much, so they're afraid of all that they know. I didn't know. So all I wanted was to make an extra income, and I needed to use the resources that were available to me. So Tamales, they have hotel equipment and all that. So I was like, the best thing I can do right now is a confectionery, because all the tools at my disposal. In the process, I love tea. I'm a tea person. I read about teas since way back, but it's not something I thought of doing as a business. But I've always loved tea, and my friends would come to my room to take tea with me. So I told them, now you guys, as you come to take tea, you always carry some money to buy my confectionery. So I realized these guys didn't really like the confectionery. They liked the tea more. So they're like, how about you just sell to us the tea? And maybe you can give us the confectionery as an accompaniment. So I realized that he was making me the money that I wanted. Yes, yet the business was the confectionery. So I realized that there is quite a lot I would do with tea, not just drinking it the way I love it, yes, but I knew I could do a lot more. I would basically make an aromatic cup of tea, and these guys would appreciate and take the tea. And I tried to put the same spices in my confectionery so that they achieved, if this aroma
is what they want.
Yes, let them get it even in the confectionery. They really liked the daddies, but they were paying more for the tea. So I was like, okay, how about I cannot do this? Like, I cannot be making tea every day, but I can mix what I put in my tea, and then you buy that. So like making a product.
And then at home you just add your own water.
Yes, and then you put in your own hot water. They're like, great. I mean, they could even buy and take home. So I did that, and it did so well. When I realized it was working out, I told my boyfriend about it, and he told me, I think you need to brand it, make it look attractive, so that even other people who are not your friends can buy it. So I didn't know anything about branding. And so all the products that I was seeing on shelf were branded, but I didn't know how these people achieved this.
Where did you even start?
Yes, but my boyfriend had an idea. They had done graphics somehow, and he was like, I can design out something rough for you, and if you appreciate it, we could start with that. I'm more like, please go ahead. And he designed something that I really liked, and that was the beginning. I didn't know it required formalities of, company registration. I didn't know it came with, tax liability. I didn't know it came with having to build a bigger network if you want to make more sales. I didn't know all that. All I wanted was to make a product that is sellable. That is all I wanted. I didn't know it. For you to achieve all that, for you to get a wider vision, you must have all these things in place. So I learned on job.
What do you enjoy about this? Not just the knowledge of tea, because you said you're passionate about tea, you've always been liking tea. What are you enjoying about being an entrepreneur now and having this business?
First of all, I get to innovate a lot of things, because at first it was just black spice tea, and then I read all the things that black spice tea could do, and then I realized that there is quite a lot that I was taking that wasn't normal to people. Because at first when I told people I'm putting spices in that, it wasn't normal. Like they were like, but you can buy masala and then you put, I'm like, it's not going to taste the same. It's different. And then I would tell people that I take rosemary as a tea, and they're like, what? That is like a spice for food. Taking herbal teas here is not something that...
It's not a big common thing. So there's
If
a lot of
just
sensitization.
take black tea plain for the sake of taking black tea. They take it routine, morning and evening. They don't even know why they're taking the tea. But when it comes to the teas that I make, it's maximizing your health naturally. It's more like taking a vitamin on a daily.
Are there things that surprise you?
Things, like I told you, everything to me was a surprise. The fact that I started out when I knew nothing.
But like you have this idea of, okay, now I'm in the business, now it will be like this. And then as you go, are things surprising you, or it's a good journey that you're like, yes, this is what it should be? Whenever
I'm like preparing, like now the fact that I entered in knowing nothing, I always prepare for better, for worse. Sometimes I launch a product on market and I don't expect the consumers to perceive it the same way I do, or some things can come off and they're not as good as I expected. I have an open mind to everything, so nothing.
Is that
really
your
surprises
personality,
me.
or you've learned this along the way?
I've learned this along the way, because sometimes you have a product and you feel it's great, and then people are like, but you're talking about this and we're not even seeing that, like, you understand?
So you've been doing this for a few years now.
Yes.
Would you say that there are certain things you started to do in your life as a person to make you a better entrepreneur?
Yes.
Like what?
One, I'm everywhere, like that one I've told you.
You feel like you're putting in more effort to be everywhere?
Yes.
You're not just an extroverted person?
It is intentional. It is intentional. I would be in a space, and what I'm looking out for is is for my brand to be seen, not for me to be seen there.
Visibility is important.
Exactly. And sometimes I think to myself that visibility leads to credibility. If people know you, they easily trust what you're doing. Another thing is creating a routine. I used not to schedule my stuff. Like you tell me, Huddah, on Thursday we have to meet. Sometimes I forget, sometimes I don't. But when I started out on this journey, the most used app on my phone is the calendar. Like I have all the dates marked out with the activities I must do on that day. I have a routine. I check my progress on a daily.
And then how do you make sure that you stay productive? Now you've said you have your goal by Friday. What's to stop you from sleeping the whole day on Tuesday? You don't have a boss?
No, the thing is that on a daily, I have activities that are running. What happens is I always plan my day or my week depending on what I want to achieve that week. If I want to be if I want to pack probably 1,000 packs of tea, how am I going to do that if I'm going to be in bed on Tuesday the whole day? So, you know, at the end of the day, you have to have accountability, and then what will you say? I was in bed on Tuesday, you know.
But what will you say to who? To yourself?
To the team. I mean, you're exemplary. You're the team leader. And if you're setting goals and there is no effort you're putting in to see that these goals are achieved, most of the people you have on your team don't actually bear the same vision as you do. You only try to, you know, push it. And then if you do not lead to show them, to make them appreciate, then they're soon going to be sleeping like you. And before you know it, you won't have anything.
And what inspires you?
Successful women do really inspire me. I listen to a lot of TED Talks. Sometimes appreciating and knowing who you are. Now, the fact that I'm a Muslim and I'm a Muganda, appreciating and accepting that fact about me first, and then not comparing myself to other people has helped me a lot. Yes.
That helps you to keep going every day? You know what you're on?
Exactly. I know who I am. I appreciate who I am. I'm able to appreciate Nataliey, who she is and everything about her without comparing myself to her.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a good skill to have, especially when you're so young. So what advice would you give young people who want to start a business?
Start.
Just do it?
Just do it, because if I started when I knew nothing, how about, most people know quite a lot more than I knew the time when I was starting out. I had studied business actually, but undertaking the act of, doing the business is way different from the theory you have in school.
Yeah.
Going to class and the essence of learning is for you to be able to remember this in an exam is way different from when you start to do it. When I started out, I had a whole course unit on taxation, but I didn't know much about taxation. I didn't even know how to file my returns, but I got an A.
Having that kind of experience and knowing that there's a big gap when you were starting out, did you take a moment to think about that? Like, you now know that you didn't know anything.
Yes.
But at that time, did you think you knew?
No, I didn't think I knew, because at first when I was starting out, I was very open-minded. I was ready to learn whatever life had to teach me. My aim was to achieve what I had in my head. How I was going to achieve it, I was ready to do whatever it took. So I knew I didn't know, but I was ready to learn whatever it was to achieve what I had in mind.
So if we can keep going into some other questions about how you process things. Now, when you find a challenge or something you're scared of, what's your approach?
Usually, I look out for people who I assume have gone through the same. Most cases, I've actually interacted with most of the people who are processing tea in Uganda. I've traveled to places in Uganda that I didn't know I would ever be to. Like last weekend, I was in Kanungu, but I went there because I needed information from them.
To hear it straight.
Yes. So whenever I have a challenge, I always look out for people who I believe have gone through a similar challenge, so that they tell me how they overcame the challenge, or they give me a better, perspective of how, in a way, I can, go about it. If not that, then I'll pray. I pray to overcome the challenge.
Wow. So you have a sure approach. You don't seem uncertain.
No, but that is how I always go about everything. Like, I'm praying, then after praying, I'm asking people, do you know of anyone who has ever gotten such a challenge? If it's filing my returns and I don't know how to go about this, because that was hell in the beginning.
So you've talked about your different networks and how you enjoy that part of being an entrepreneur. Can you talk to us a bit about mentorship, and if there's someone or some people that you turn to, or how you built those relationships, how you found these mentors? Because I think that's something that would really be helpful.
Okay. First of all, I started my journey of mentorship way back in high school. I went to a school where we had career guidance. We had mentors brought to us at school. Yes. And when I went to university, I ceased to see that, but I was mentored enough to keep grounded. And while I was at campus, I tried to look out for it. Now this time I had to search for it at school. In high school they used to bring it to us.
Yeah, now you have to be
proactive.
Now
I had to be proactive and look out for it. I met a guy called Eunice, became friends, and he was so into mentorship and he had a lot of networks. He introduced me to the American Resource Center, where they used to bring they still do, and they still invite me. They bring different mentors from the US who have been doing good in business.
Wow.
And then they can speak to us. I didn't need these guys really for business, but I needed all they had to say, because I didn't have a business then, but everything that they said has groomed me to who I am today. So while in SEDA International, I think I portrayed myself in a way that convinced them I was already through with school. I had my life figured out. The thing is that I was very intentional in looking for them. So I had to give them what they wanted, so that they give me what I want. I joined UWIL. I joined UZIA. I joined UZIA before I joined UWIL.
What's UZIA and UWIL? Help us and explain.
UZIA is an association for Ugandan manufacturers, but small-scale manufacturers. And me being into processing, I felt it fit for me to be there. So I joined UZIA because of that, because it was supporting Ugandan small-scale manufacturers. And while at Chizia, I met lots of business people who told me, are you part of your will? This is a network for women. I think it's what you're looking out for, since you're always forefronting the fact that you're looking for a woman, umbrella. I think you should try it out. And when someone tells me I think you should try it out, I make sure I do try it out, because you never know why someone has told you to try out something. And I was there at Chiwil the next day.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what, I'm here because this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for. And they're like, you're in the right place. So I realized with female entrepreneurs, and why I was looking for a female umbrella was because as women we have similar challenges. Under Uzia, no one is going to understand me when I express certain things there, but when under you will, everyone, we understand each other because we're all women. Even the opportunities that come our way, we're able to face them a similar way.
And so when you think about someone who impacted women, would you say that there's some advice you would give young women that is different from just giving general young entrepreneurs stuff that they can do to make sure that they can get to this kind of stage?
As a young woman, you must be willing to break the barriers that could be in your way to achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve. If it's cultural barriers, then you have to be willing to break some rules and make sure that you achieve what you want. Certain cultures do. The reason as to why we're always looking out for female safe spaces is because of that culture. But when you're willing to break that barrier of, okay, this is what society expects, but this is not true for me, I am willing to go an extra mile and buy a truck and drive it myself. Why not?
Be the only woman.
And be the only woman that is driving this truck. So I'm saying, if you're a young woman out there, then you should be able and you should be willing to break the barriers. Anything that you feel would be an obstacle in your way to success or in your way to, prospering in entrepreneurship, then you should be willing to face it and thrive through.
And go.
Yes.
And is there advice you'd give them? Because it's not easy to be the only woman driving the truck or being the only woman in that room or in that office or in that situation.
I understand.
So how can we help our young women to deal with that?
I'm Muslim, and we have this story of one imam who went and ate from a tree, a fruit from a tree, and then the owner of the tree hadn't given him the fruit. So when he walked past, he felt guilty, and he's like, I must go back and report myself for eating that fruit. So when he walked back, he told the man, you know what, I ate from your tree and I am so sorry. Whatever you want me to do right now, so that you can pardon me, I'll do. And the man told him, okay, marry my daughter. That's what I want you to do. And the guy felt like, oh my God, this is too much. Like, exactly. So he was like, oh, but I mean, if this is all I have to do for you to forgive me, then please bring your daughter, I marry. And then the man is all like, but my daughter is blind, dumb, and deaf, like.
Wow.
And then the man was like worried. He was like, oh my God, how am I going to take home a woman with all these, but he was willing. He's all like, if it's all that I have to do for you to forgive me, I'll marry her. So the lady was brought out, and she was extremely beautiful. And then this man started talking and saying compliments, and then the woman responded. I was like, but your dad told me you can't hear. And it's like, what he meant was that I cannot hear anything that is going to stray me from God. I can't speak about anything that is going to divert me from my faith, like in that kind of sense. So why I'm telling you this story is because of the question that you've asked me. When you're an entrepreneur and you're a young woman and you have all these challenges around you, then you must have to use those three things. The ears, you have to be dumb to certain things that you wouldn't want to ruin whatever it is they're going through. You have to be maybe deaf, you have to be blind, so that in case something is meant to divert you and you saw it with your eyes, then you must be blind to it. So really it's from those stories that I'm more like, okay, I mean, I need to borrow this and I must apply it in my life.
So in your herbal tea business, What is the unique selling point? What's making your tea different from the regular teas we just buy, the Kerichos on the supermarket shelves?
On the shelf. First of all, like I said, my tea is different. If it's a black tea, it is going to come with spices, and not just any regular spice. These are spices that are intentionally blended so that they can improve on your health. For example, I put spices like cinnamon, and cinnamon has been rated one of the healthiest teas in the world, and it also has anti-aging properties.
Wow.
Yes, lavender, same for lavender. Mine is organic. It's straight from the garden to your cup. We do not spray. We do not use any, processing or hard additives. We shed dry the tea, the green tea. Even when you put our green tea leaf in your cup, you see the leaf spreading out.
Oh.
Yeah, because all we do is dry it under shade and then pack it in a safe package, and then on your table.
And what are you looking forward to now?
What am I looking forward to in my business? If you have a party and you wouldn't want to serve cappuccino or black chocolate or what, you have an alternative of having an healthier tea experience at your function. So we just bring our teas and then we prepare them for you, and then you serve your guests.
Wow.
So they don't have to leave when the food has burdened their stomachs. They cut it down with the tea. Yes.
And that must be something that's interesting and interactive, and
yes,
you get to choose the different flavors.
Exactly. So they all imagine the teas. What's amazing about the teas is not just about the health benefits. They taste absolutely nice, and each tea tastes different from the other.
How would you describe entrepreneurship in 3 words?
Entrepreneurship, first of all, it's exciting, it's lonely, and rewarding. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Do you have a final message for our viewers that you would like to let them know?
The message is consume herbal teas, especially Nash Royal Teas, and you do what you have to do. Be kind and stay safe.
Thank you, Huddah. So nice to have you on our show.
Thank you for inviting me, Natalie. It was great being here.
It's been wonderful.
And sharing my story. Thank you.
We had a wonderful interview with Miss Huddah from Nash Royal Teas. We've learned so much, and we'll be sure to share all the information about the herbal teas and make sure that we understand this better and we change how Ugandans consume herbal tea now. My name is Nataliey Bitature, and this is Business Revolution.